What's going on, people? Corner Store Podcast. We got a repeat guest on the panel. How you doing, man? Chief Bullhead, what's going on?
How's it going? What am?
Hey, I'm good, man. How you doing?
Living life, man.
Yeah, same here, man. I mean, you living that retired lifestyle. I'm jealous.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you're never really retired. You just do other things.
Well, things that you want to do. You
Right.
don't have a clock.
No.
You got to worry about punching in and have to be somewhere at a certain time. So,
No.
that's
wonderful.
that's half the battle and getting your sanity back.
Right. I mean, I work for myself now.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Hopefully I get that one day. But till then, I'm just in this rat race, man, trying to raise 2 kids, trying to please a wife, trying to please my bosses at work. So, it is what it is for now.
Right.
Yeah, man. So you had posed some type of question for me about this pandemic or this global bug that's affecting our women. So what made you come up with that? Okay, you said, I don't want to forget, we should do a show about COVID has changed women's lifestyles when it comes to daycare, school, and teleschool from home.
Yeah, I've been kind of, watching trends.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I've noticed is that there's a lot more women being arrested for domestic violence these days at home. But, before COVID, everybody got to send their kids to, school, daycare, someplace else, work. So people had, other things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now we don't have things to do. So now, and I don't want to just talk about women, just people in general, but I just been noticing like there's been a whole lot more domestic violence going up. A lot of, matter of fact, there was a chief in the Navy that just shot her and killed her husband, I think yesterday, down in Jacksonville. It's like people are not getting along, and now they're like, like seriously hurting each other, killing each other. And it's just a kind of a rage of violence. But I think, this whole COVID-19 thing is kind of had a big, impact because of that. And then now you take the whole nation divide,
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff, and then you got half of the West Coast burning on fire, and then you got COVID hitting again hard, the Delta variant.
In regards to, as far as the trends in domestic violence, as far as women getting arrested, are you talking about violence with mothers versus their kids, or as far as the intimate partner violence between female to male?
I mean, all of it. I just posted something earlier. It talks about how, matter of fact, let me look that up while I'm talking to you. A lot of young men, they're abused by women when they're younger, and a lot of people don't talk about that. So, like, when you're used to that, and that's all that sometimes is what you tend to attract, because you think that's normal when it's not normal.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, it's a constant cycle, and that's what I kind of got from the book "Man Not" by Dr. Tommy Curry, where he talked about how, for the most part, men really don't report any type of violence against the opposite sex when it comes to police because of the whole stigma of the man being weak. He's not being like an alpha in his household. So
right.
yeah, it is that dynamic of men. They really don't want to say anything to anybody, especially the officers of the state. You know, they don't want to report that. And plus, another factor in why men really don't want to call the police when it comes to intimate partner violence is because of that whole Duluth model. Under that, you know, it just seems like whenever a cop is called to a home when it comes to domestic violence, someone has to go to jail. And
Right.
for the most part, they take the man.
But that's changing now, depending on because now I just posted a video uh, on on Facebook, and it showed a woman who went to a man's house, forced herself in there with a knife, was somehow she was going to kill him because her son, I'm sorry, his son had stolen like $100 worth of weed from her, like 7 ounces of weed. And I mean, that's okay. Look at all the Facebook ghetto videos that's online that you can watch with all these fights in the street, with all these young, with all these young, and it's mostly girls out there fighting, girls fighting girls. And then sometimes a girl will, or a bunch of girls will jump on a guy. You don't see
Mhm.
too many guys jumping on a girl unless it's like, unless he's, part of the LGBT community, and he's not really acting masculine, but he's acting feminine. Like
Mhm.
I'm just saying, you see that too. A lot of those guys that hang out with the girls, they're one of the girls. They'll get in those fights too.
Yeah, it won't shock me. Yeah, I can picture that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, if anyone wants to dispute what I'm saying, I mean, like I said, you got YouTube, ghetto videos you can watch 24 hours a day. All you gotta do is just Google it, just street fights, and now it's in every community, including, well, it's in white communities too. These poor white communities, they're out there doing the same thing. Mexican communities, they're doing the same thing. Asian communities, you got Asians now going around, and now well, they've been bullying black folks. But then again, and that's another subject, but a lot of foreigners have moved here to this country from their country of origin, and have just moved into our neighborhoods. You know
Mhm.
why? Everybody said, look, they 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 a bunch of monkeys. Don't worry about them. They ain't gonna do nothing to you. If you give them what they want, they're gonna buy it from you. They're gonna keep on buying it from you, and that's what you've been seeing. I
Yeah,
mean,
unfortunately,
there
when we
are
get
videos,
money,
on how to entice black people into buying your shit.
I mean, you don't have to really convince blacks to like, um, well, the stat that I keep seeing in regards to like the way our dollar circulates is whenever we get paid, it leaves our community within 14 minutes of us getting paid. We don't kind of like practice group economics. We don't spend within ourselves. We pretty much kind of outsource everything that we need on a daily basis to other groups of people who's going to offer those type of goods and services.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what? There was a time I remember when I lived in Memphis where a lot of people weren't understanding the the time sharing of services,
mhm.
cable, electric, gas. You know, you can create your own LLC, and you can go to the gas company and say, look, I want to buy so many shares of your company, or I want to, I want to do business, and I'm going to, become a subcontractor for you. I'm
Mhm.
selling it for you, but I'm reaping some of the benefits of going out and doing the marketing. So and I did that in Memphis, and yeah, like I said, it was kind of like a sham. It was like, okay, we're all getting our cable services from, you know, Time Warner, I think it was at the time. But then you go, and I worked for 5 Star Cable. But our job really was just to sell the cable to people. They were still getting the service from Time Warner.
Mm-hmm.
So we would get a bill from them, and we pay them, and then the other people pay us. And we made a little bit of extra money for the same services. Look, you know, I tell people this all the time, and people don't like to listen because they're just, whatever. Nothing has changed in this world. You got the rich, the middle class, you got the poor, and then you got the nobodies, the grimies of the grimy.
Hey, but do you want to be rich?
I am rich.
I'm talking monetarily. Like, would you like to be rich?
I mean, of course, everyone wants to be rich, but
Okay, so all right, so hold that thought. If you want to be rich, we all want to be rich, but since we live under this capitalistic society, there's winners and losers. So for every rich person that's out there, there's thousands of people living as undercasts, members of the community.
absolutely.
So it's like a check and balance. So if you got a super rich person right here, then you got to have thousands that's going to be living below the poverty line. It's going to be the working class, the lower middle class, the middle class. So that's the only way how this system works. So if you want to be rich, fine. I hope you get rich, but keep in mind that you kind of talked about how there's the poor, there's the middle class, there's the upper class. I mean, yes, I mean under our current system, that's the way that everything operates. But keep in mind, if you want to be rich, then unfortunately, there's going to be people. There's going to be the byproducts of you being rich.
No, look. There, you cannot have rich people without poor people.
Yeah.
You got to have one without the other, you know. But the thing is, poor people think that rich people care about them, which they don't. And a lot of these middle class people, you think, look, I live in the suburbs of Atlanta. You live in the suburbs of Chicago. We got other friends and family members and stuff that live in the suburbs of major cities.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to live in Atlanta.
As far as the city of Atlanta,
Yeah.
if I was living in Atlanta, it would be Midtown. Midtown is nice.
It's nice, but it's expensive, and they still have a high crime rate.
In Midtown?
Yeah.
Like, okay, what type of crimes though? Are we talking about robberies or assaults?
carjacking, bank robbery, murder.
Carjackings are pretty much increasing pretty much nationwide.
Okay, so like I said, what we were talking about initially, the COVID. It's like the COVID. It's like the COVID craze.
Yeah.
Like everyone using that as an excuse to go around and act crazy because they're not locking up as many people, or they don't have as many, ancillary services out there, tracking folks. They're acting crazy, and a lot of them are women because man, I was looking, I was checking some stuff out earlier. It's like it's like the Karen syndrome. You got a couple Kens, but you got a whole lot more Karens than you got Kens out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're rite of passage, and and that's what I want to get back to. People act like there was a time where Black people didn't go through all these type of issues. things have not changed. Time has changed a little bit. The times have changed, but the situations haven't changed. You still got, women acting like old girl that lied on Emmett Till, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still got people, calling the police, lying on people, talking about they got a gun in their car when they on their cell phone. You
Yeah.
know, it's crying wolf is what it is. And black people think that they got the same rights as whites do. If you look, if you what, and I'm sure this law is still in effect. It used to be you couldn't yell fire in a movie theater because it would cause a panic. You know what I mean? So like a lot of times they are causing panic by making them phone calls. So why isn't there a law saying that, hey, if you call, if you yell fire, or you yell, hey, black man with a gun, or a black man, or a black woman with a dog on the lakefront, whatever, a black man,
Yeah.
or any person.
Yeah. That baffles me with the climate that we're living in now, that with this whole perception of like the police, whenever they encounter black men, is going to be some type of violent outcome, right? And,
Right.
and my theory is that for the most part, I think it's these liberal women making these phone calls to the police, kind of weaponizing that whole boogie black man image. There's plenty
Oh,
of examples out there, like that Central Park Karen, where she called the police on a black man because I guess her dog wasn't leashed, and the guy was trying to tell her like, hey, you got to leash your dog. So then she got on the phone. Now he was recording her the whole time. She
right.
was on the phone like, oh, this is black man. He's really bothering me. He's harassing me. And, just weaponizing that image,
Right.
knowing that if the police come to her aid, worst case scenario, that black man's going to be pretty much put to death.
Right. Right.
Like another example, that guy, John Crawford in Ohio, he was walking around Walmart talking on the phone to his girlfriend. Unbeknownst to him, like the police was literally trying to give him orders while he's on the phone, holding like a toy gun, in which that gun came from the store. They pretty much shot him dead on the spot.
Right.
So yeah, it's plenty of examples which people kind of weaponize that whole boogie black man, and I mean, knowing that the climate that we live in, and people still use that defense, or so-called boy crying wolf, persona.
Right. And I mean, but people think it's going to stop. Like, look, they've been doing this. They were doing this before we had cell phones, before we had an internet. They've always done this. Ain't nothing changed. And now, and so look, you got the same black folks crying the same old songs and doing the same old speeches that they've been doing for the last 150 years, ever since supposedly slaves were freed, when really it was a trick, it was a lie. We didn't get freed. They just said we was free.
Well,
I mean, be happy they said you was free one day, but then they come get you, they come start rounding you back up within the next couple of years. Why? Because you didn't have any place to go or anything to do.
Yeah, one form of slavery was traded for like another form of slavery as far as imprisonment. Oh yeah, yeah. I totally get where you're coming from. So
But this COVID, man, like I said, this COVID has got so bad where people are, like I was in the grocery store earlier. Now I only go in there now to just get what I need. I don't try to go in there and get a lot of groceries because things spoil, whatever else. But you had people in there like damn near getting ready to fight each other on, like trying to get around the store. And then people were trying to avoid each other. I mean, it was like we were sitting there dancing, in the aisles and stuff. And then you got, there's a Karen in there She's like, why does everybody get to shop in the store at the same time? Like, it's a grocery store.
Mm.
I mean, you know, I mean, they got senior citizen. They still can get in there an hour earlier.
Yeah, some stores do that. I know that Sam's Club does it.
I mean, the way she made it seem like it was gonna be, you know, a Karen time and, you know, black people time and, you know, Asian people time. Like where I live at, I mean, we're pretty diverse. We got a little bit of everybody that lives around where we live at. But I'm just saying, like, what you talking about? That everybody got to shop at the same time. You go in there when you get to go shopping.
Okay, so since you retired, why not do your grocery shopping in the middle of the week while everyone's at work?
I go when I need to go. I'm okay.
I would recommend you going in the middle of the week while everyone's at work, so that way instead of going on a Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, which is going to be crowded, I don't want you in those Karen's ways.
Okay, so
I don't want you impeding in their personal space.
so look, like I said, I went there because I needed to get something for somebody in this household that needed something. A need. But you know, you forget, oh, you know, I need some tomatoes or I need, you know.
See, that's your fault. That no, you said you was going to the grocery store for one thing, but hey,
And
you got greedy.
But no, look,
You put this on yourself.
I always walk out in a 10 underline. When I go in to get one thing, it's gonna be 10 and under.
Of course, yeah.
You know, like I said, like I mean, I grabbed some hoagie buns and some tuna fish.
So y'all ate tuna hoagies tonight?
I did. I had some.
Okay.
Tuna fish. I like tuna fish though.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So what else on your mind, cuz? What else is burning your psyche right now?
Psyche.
I mean, hopefully I'll be retired in less than 10 years, right? So what should I look forward to on a day in, day out basis? I mean, the girl's still gonna be in school, but I have like a minor taste of what it's gonna be like. I mean, right now, you know, they're still very young, but once they're in school, I got like a short window to kind of like do whatever I need to do, what if it's working out or making a couple of errands before I go to work if I have to work that day, or if I'm off. I could take a nap. I can you know, just do other stuff around the house, like do pet projects. Like my last pet project was just putting up blinds in my daughter's room. But in general, like when you're retired full time, I mean, does the days get very long or what?
Well, if you're lucky and you don't have to work, you don't live by a time clock. So, like, I mean, I don't wear a watch no more. I don't wear a watch no more.
I mean, even once I'm retired though, I still gotta live by my daughter's clock. I gotta live by their schedule until they're outside my domain. What if it's in college or post college? But as long as they're in my household, I'm pretty much kind of going by what they got going on. What if it's academics? What if it's sports? What if it's something in the arts? If they going to end up playing like an instrument or something like that, I'm going to always be on their schedule.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I mean, you know, hopefully, I'm sure that y'all gonna, you know, cook together. You know,
But they'll be cooking for me, hopefully.
I mean, God willing, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, looking for them now.
I mean, my wife, she's a good cook, but I hope that she kind of pass on some like some easy go-to recipes for them to kind of like cook, you know, once they're like in their early teens.
Yeah.
So that way, you know, if I ask them to just make something real quick, hopefully they can just do it. Especially if I'm downstairs watching football during the football season.
If you're out of town, you know, trip for a couple of days, they can cook for themselves.
I won't be comfortable if I'm out of town and they're at the house and them cooking. I won't be comfortable with that.
I mean,
I would give them some type of takeout budget, but I don't think I want them to kind of like use my stove on while I'm like out of the house for like numerous days. I mean, no, I don't think so.
okay. I mean, so what's the cutoff for that age? They
As
gotta be
far, so what?
they gotta be 25 years old in order to cook in the kitchen by themselves.
You know, you said something about if I'm out of town and if they're at the house and would I be comfortable with them cooking?
Like let's say high school age, I mean, they're
I mean,
responsible.
when I was in high school, I was cooking even when my parents were out of the house. I mean, but like in hindsight, I probably wouldn't allow myself to cook.
Oh, really? I mean, that's how I got to start cooking. Period. I was in high school.
I mean,
And then,
yeah.
I worked in a grocery store, so I had access to food.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they can cook, but you said if I'm out of town and
No, I'm
if
saying
they stay behind.
no. Okay, or even if they start dinner, like say like say you take say you take your wife out to a movie, and they're in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and you know you're like, hey, you know what? We bought some asparagus, some chicken, whatever. I think that a lot of children these days really need to know how to cook real food. And it's a lot cheaper than fast food. And it's better for you than fast food.
If you think about it, I mean, for like women today, women today, it's not like the women that we kind of grew up with. They're definitely not like our mothers or grandmothers, in which they don't have like a cookbook at home. They don't know how to cook like really solid 4-course meals. But if a woman like that was to do all that stuff, she would literally stand out from the rest of the pack.
Well, I mean, some of them know how to do it.
Yeah, some, but not majority. But I'm saying majority of women of our grandmothers, majority of them, they've been cooking like full meals since they were teens. I mean, that was the normal back then.
Right.
Today, we got Grubhub, we got Uber Eats, we
Right.
got DoorDash.
Right. So all I'm saying is, I think that, especially the time now. I mean, we're in another revolution right now. We're in a sexual revolution. We're in a
That's been going on since the 70s. I mean, that's nothing new.
okay. No, but I'm saying, I mean, now it's like it's getting thick and heavy. I mean, the 70s ain't have shit on 2020. Because I mean,
Now, what revolution are you talking about?
there's another sexual revolution going on right now.
I'm saying what though?
They're actually decriminalizing certain things that I believe should be kept in order.
I heard that New York City did it recently.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting to decriminalize sodomy, and they're redefining what sodomy is. But it's funny how they're talking about all these different, like in Texas, okay? Do I agree with abortion? No, I don't. I don't. I wouldn't want to have been aborted as a child if that would have been my mother's decision. I wouldn't have wanted to been aborted. I'm glad that I won a lottery and I'm on this planet. But they only tend to support the parts that makes those who are victims the champion for their cause. they don't talk about the other people who have elected to not have protected sex, and then at the same time elect to have an abortion because of the lack of having protected sex. You know,
Yeah. I mean, fertility rates are pretty much down today. And, abortion is kind of used as a form of contraception.
right.
That
But
wasn't
see,
the design of it, but it just pretty much kind of ran amok today. And as far as prostitution being decriminalized today, I believe is that, from the global bug that's going on, like a lot of female jobs were pretty much kind of lost, as far as like retail, customer service, stuff like that. So, and unemployment benefits are pretty much running out. So I think the government is trying to find a way for like women to kind of like make money on the side. So I think that's why they pretty much kind of decriminalize it. So that way, if they could do it in a safe manner, I think this is the reason why they're doing it.
as far as prostitution,
Yeah. I mean, why you think that OnlyFans is booming right now? Because that's a platform that's like allowing women to like make a whole bunch of money just selling pictures or videos,
yeah,
adult content.
yeah, but you said prostitution. So you're talking about there's like, okay. So I was watching a program where a guy had taken, he said, a very beautiful, young lady out, and she was very friendly and, touchy feely.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as they were, halfway through their date, she said, well, so let's just get down to it. Like, how much money you got? He's like, what are you talking about? Like, no, I mean, I mean, if you want this, you got to pay because, and I know you ain't no celebrity, but if celebrities want it, it costs them $10,000.
You know what? For her to be comfortable for even having that conversation, obviously that wasn't the first time she had a conversation. I mean, she's probably been doing it for a while.
No, this guy told this what he said. He said, he was like, so what are you, a prostitute? She's like, no, I'm not a prostitute. I just let guys know if you want this, you got to pay, which is the same thing.
That's what it is.
But see, but just because you don't say it, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, people these days, they want to sit there and say, well, I'm not a pimp, but you go and find, guys to have sex with women. I mean, there's no university for pimphood. You either a pimp or you ain't. You know what I mean? But these women think, oh well, I went to college. If you selling your body after college, you're a prostitute still.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, you got some women who are prostitutes, and when I say that, they marry men and they still be out doing their own thing, and they still getting paid and being a side chick for some other dude and getting paid. So they prostitutes too.
I mean, if you're talking about the sexual revolution from that aspect, yes, it definitely has run amok. I mean,
Crazy.
I doubt women back in the day in our grandmother's time have, was doing stuff like that. I mean, it was really the men that was pretty much having sad families, but but for the most part, I guess they were taking care of their responsibilities. But today, I mean, even if you got women with kids, she's still pretty much kind of doing that type of behavior where whether she's going to leave her kids with her mom or grandmother, or maybe like the state has her kids, but she's still doing the same behavior. That's pretty much going to land her back from square one.
And it's so funny you said that, because I just saw a video of a young lady, and she videotaped herself. It was on TikTok, and she said, thank God the state came and got my kids. And she said and this is her words. She said they came and got all 7 of them motherfuckers, and I'm happy now because now I'm by myself. I can go get high. I can go party. I can do what I want to do because they came and got them 7 motherfuckers.
And guess what? She's gonna find another sucker to impregnate her. She's gonna be back in the same position.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what happened? What happened to all these people? How did their minds get so poisoned?
Well, there's no leadership in the home. There's no accountability. There's no discipline in the household. I mean, it was by design, but our man has been driven out of the household. I mean, even Patrick Moynihan predicted all this today when he wrote that report in the mid 60s. But back then, you know, feminists calling him racist.
Right.
Oh, like how dare you say this about Black people? As I keep telling you before, these white liberals are the enemy to the Black family.
Of course. I mean, you know what? I mean, Malcolm X was saying that for years.
Yeah.
He was calling them on it.
Yeah.
You listening to the white man tell you how you should live your life and how you're going to be successful and how you perceive yourself as being beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
now
a lot of people still don't understand. Look, these young kids, these poison kids, they still don't get what this man was trying to tell them. He gave his life to give that message up.
mm-hmm.
He gave his life to give up that message. How many of those people are willing to do that?
Yeah, I mean,
No.
That was the climate back in the 60s. I mean, you know, people put their lives, people put skin in the game in order to make real change. Today, everything is about grifting. Everything is about aligning with the corporations or special interest groups so that you can get paid and throw out this false messaging to Black people saying, oh, it's okay to, you know, be single and independent and get the education. You know, you don't need no man, you know, just live free. You know, you don't need to be together. Let's have this new family dynamic in which we can have the village raise the kids. I mean, the whole village concept always been with us, you know, since the beginning. But the village concept was supposed to be supplemental to the actual family unit, the nuclear family, which is father, mother, and then he and she raised their kids. And then the village would be that complementary piece. But today they want to get rid of the whole nuclear family dynamic and just have, you know, have the internet, have TV, have the media raise your kids, give them these you know, messed up messages, you know, especially with this whole WAP culture, this hot girl summer culture, this thug culture.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, you know what? The rape culture.
I mean, to me, there's no such thing as no RAPE culture. They're just propaganda. I mean, if it was a RAPE culture, then men across the board would be getting away with all this, you know, crap anyway, right? For the most part, I mean, you said what?
You do get away with it all the time.
Who, men?
Yeah.
No, they don't.
You mean they don't get away with it?
If a man was to get accused by that and found guilty, he's gonna go to jail, right?
That all depends on the situation.
Okay, so even if he doesn't go to jail, even with the accusation, professionally, that man is done. Now, let's assume that he didn't do it. Let's assume that he's innocent.
Right.
Professionally, he's going to get canceled.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, if he did it, more than likely, hopefully he should be in jail. Hopefully there's some type of rape kit done so that way we know that guy was the perpetrator.
Okay. All right. So I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm talking about the fake rape culture. I'm talking about what some women have been doing for the past 50 years, accusing men of rape. Hell, even before that,
Yeah, yeah.
how they used to lynch black men. They got a white woman to say, "Oh, he raped me." Then what they do? They go string him up on the damn tree.
Yeah, I actually read about that. And
That's that fake rape culture. You know,
right, that's what I was getting at.
accusation. Yeah, the accusation that someone raped them, and you know, because there's two things. There's a couple things you do not want to be in prison, and one of them is a rapist.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're a rapist and you done raped children, a pedophile, a chested child molester.
Mm-hmm.
They get killed up in there because most of them
Yeah.
guys up in there, they might be in there for, fighting on the street. They might have hurt somebody bad. They might have burned somebody's house down, but they ain't messing with no children though.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, it's supposed to be, it's not, but it's supposed to be taboo. But let me
Yeah.
tell you, it's a lot of children that are being sexually molested, just like it's a lot of children that are being uh, uh, sexually trafficked or just trafficked for slavery reasons.
Yeah, today, yes, our kids are more vulnerable to that because of the way the whole households are pretty much set up. Female headed households.
Right.
So yeah, they're definitely prey to that. Whether what if it's the woman's or the mother's boyfriend or male friends, male company.
Hey, you see, and that's another fake perception. They think it's the males that are abducting these children. It's not. It's women doing it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Women are also helping out with that too. Yeah.
Not helping. They're in charge of it. A
Mm.
woman can get away with a whole lot more than a man can. When you see a woman at the border with a child and a man at the border with a child, which one gets to cross over first?
The woman and the child.
Us. So them kids stay with the woman. They don't be with the man. The men and the boys run like freaking wolves to
Mm-hmm.
get over that damn wall. The rest of them walk through with the women. These women are trafficking these children, man. Look, they've been lying about men ever since the 1900s. Ever since, when they had these laws where, you couldn't leave your man and take your children away from you. There was laws against that back in the early 1900s. A man had a right to his wife and his children. And he didn't want her running off with no man or no woman's, which is what's going on right now. So a lot of them are getting what they want. They running off with other men and other women.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's
But
unfortunate.
I know.
It's unfortunate that like a lot of these false RAPE reports are like coming out being weaponized to kind of like demonize men.
Yeah.
And that was kind of highlighted when I read, I had mentioned this book earlier, like The Man Not, which when like the white women were kind of like blaming black men for like raping them, and then they're going this whole lynch mob, goose chase and find the man and have lynching picnics, and they would first castrate him, and as he's bleeding out, these folks are like cutting them and burning them and stabbing them and clawing the skin off, and I mean they was literally having a party just watching this shit.
That sounds like the rapture. Sounds like the rapture.
Yeah.
And people don't want to talk about it, but they've done those type of rapture acts before. They did it over in Kosovo. That was the reason why we were there, because that's what they were doing over there.
Yeah, that was as recent as the late 90s, huh?
Yeah, they had mass graves of people, and they were doing atrocities over there. And like I said, Just like what's going on with Afghanistan right now. We got all these refugees that are here now.
Mm-hmm.
They'll start popping up in your neighborhoods, and you're gonna see them on the street. Well, during that, you had a bunch of people from Kosovo and Sarajevo and other places, and some of them ended up in Memphis. And I mean, look, I love people, and I've been to Albania, which is just below there. So I was talking to people. When I told them I was going there, they was like, "Oh yeah, man, be careful with those Albanians, blah blah." What they were saying, but he was telling me about the atrocities they were doing over there. I mean, they were killing people, you know, but these things happen all the time. And people act like, they pick the ones that they want to report on or make a big deal in the news media. But this happens all the time. I mean, Rwanda, no one stopped that from happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. This world. Yeah. I mean, the world has their issues, and being that the U.S. is this big superpower, we feel emboldened to kind of like go out and kind of police the whole world, and we'll pick and choose which ones to intervene with, and we'll choose not to intervene with. It all depends on the resources, and as far as this Afghanistan thing, I mean, from the get-go, even when I went to Kuwait back in the early 2000s, I mean, I thought it was a BS thing to do because, for one, what happened to us in 9/11, that was more of an Afghanistan, thing, as far as us, going out there and avenging our citizens who died September 11th. Speaking of that, 20 years ago, exactly.
Right.
And for us to kind of pivot over to Iraq, I mean, it was all about resources, all about the oil. I mean, the whole military industrial complex is all about starting conflicts. I mean, starting conflicts is not, it's not the end all be all for us. The main thing is starting conflicts, and basically it's all about the recovery. The recovery allows us to stay in these places, to build bases, to spread democracy, to give these people new government, a new constitution.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
And also trying to turn Afghanistan into Chicago or Detroit or Milwaukee or Cleveland, with a bunch of McDonald's, Burger Kings, fast food, prostitutes on the corner, liquor stores, gun stores.
Yeah. Yeah. Bring all these American companies out there. Yeah. That's what it's all about, man.
I mean, look, the Iranians, the reason why we don't like the Iranians, because the Iranians, they started accepting our cultures. And then the Ayatollah said, look, shut this down. Hell no. Y'all ain't gonna have Burger Kings and Taco Bells up here where they importing all that poison meat from wherever it's coming from to us. And no, you're not gonna let our women start taking the burqas off and start stripping down half naked on street corners. No, we're not gonna let y'all do that to us. But that's what they were trying to do. And it was working there for a minute. They had nightclubs, and I mean, it was starting to become modernized, like Detroit or Chicago.
Now those are real patriarchies out there.
But I'm telling you, they tried it.
Mm-hmm.
They still got private brothels and private nightclubs that you can go to, and hell, even some of the
but that's only for the elite though. Like the common person, they don't get access to that type of stuff.
Oh no, I'm saying like you have to know somebody.
Oh yeah.
And you have to be in a certain clique.
Oh yeah.
But it's the funny part though. Even the men wear burqas to go in there because they can't check you behind no burqa. So they just think it's a bunch of women going into a burqa store, and really it's a nightclub in the back or down the basement.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Like in your basement is pretty much soundproof. You could throw a party down there and nobody upstairs really even knows there's a party going on downstairs.
Oh no, they'll know. They'll know.
I mean,
You just can't hear it from outside the house because
but
I
that's
had
what I'm, you know,
so what?
that's what I'm saying. Like nobody outside of wherever the party is knows that it's a party place except the people that go there.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Like our family knows your house. We don't know your next door neighbor, and he don't really know us.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows when a lot of cars show up, it's your family. But there's never a whole bunch of too much noise. So they don't really know what's going on there. You know?
Yeah. I don't have a lot of riffraff going on in my house, so
Right, exactly. So, but I'm saying you could have some and nobody would know because downstairs is pretty soundproof. You know, like you keep the door open upstairs, yeah, you can hear something. But and it's probably more people, you know, laughing and joking or whatever, or a highlight during a game or something.
all right. Hey man, we keep this going for a while, man. Should I gotta give me some sleep? I got an early day in the morning. But before you go, what's your prediction for tomorrow night? Bears and Rams. Who you got?
I'm going for the Bears, man.
Yeah, of course you would. Yeah, I'll go for the Bears too. Well, yeah, I hope that they win, but
and you know what? It's kind of funny because my boy Ed is going to go to the game tomorrow, and if he would have told me about it, I would have flew out there for the game just to go to the game, and I came right back.
Oh, he's going to LA.
Yeah, he's there now.
Oh, nice. He a Bears fan?
No, but he's a former league player, so he can
he get access to that stuff.
Yeah, so I was like, man,
let's be nice.
Yeah, so yeah, I could have went to the game. Tomorrow if somebody would have told me.
Oh, okay.
They got flights from here to LA for the Lolo.
Yeah, Atlanta's a major hub, so yeah, you can go to LA, yeah, for dirt cheap and back.
Right. Yeah,
and get a hotel room, or if your sister is generous, you could have stayed over there at least for a night.
I'd probably fly in and probably come right back home.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, cuz, well, we'll reconnect sometime next week, man, and come out with some other content, some other controversial topics to discuss, and and move forward, man.
I just want to throw this out here. I don't know if you heard this, man. I look, this really got me. Okay, I posted it. I posted it on my page, but I'm gonna share this. So somebody posted, my wife named our son after her first love, and I had no idea. It says this throwaway account because she know my main account. My son is 5. About 2 days ago, we were out shopping and ran into a high school friend of hers. She was catching up when she told her friend that we had a son. When the old friend asked what his name was, my wife hesitated, and I told her. She had a strange look on her face, and then she said, "You mean like your ex-boyfriend?" Our son's name is very unique to the point that I've never met another person with the same name. Now she refuses to talk to me about it. I feel betrayed and disgusted with her. It's like a switch that was flipped up in my mind, and I just can't look at her the same way. So like basically, that'd be like me naming my daughter after a girlfriend, like one of my old girlfriends that I never got over before.
Especially like a name that's very unique.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I named 2 of my daughters, one after my my Muslim mother, Sister Anissa that was at the wedding,
Mm-hmm.
and I named Amina after my best childhood friend I used to play in the sandbox with.
Mm-hmm.
But I would never have gave a name to somebody that I hadn't got over before. But I just found that kind of interesting where, you know, people just don't know that people just don't, some people just don't give up their keys to their old relationships. They still got on the key ring when they need to get rid of it, you know?
Yeah, I saw the stat somewhere. I believe it was in the UK, which they did some type of study, and like of all the fraternities that was tested, like 30% of those was not the father.
30%.
Yeah, of the paternity test that was taken, 30% was not the father. I thought it was. I mean, yeah, I mean that's a huge number, obviously.
Yeah, I mean that's a third. That's 1 in 3.
Yeah, yeah, it's huge. So, yeah, I mean, maybe we could kind of deep dive into that next time we have a conversation. So, yeah, I think that's a juicy topic. So, yeah, we'll talk about paternity fraud.
Yeah, it's a fraud. All right, man.
All right, cuz. Well, you have a good night, man. I'll see you next week.
All right, later on.
All right, peace.